So I wanted to give an insight into some of the ways that we work and break down how a few of the sounds were made in our latest single. And rather than doing a tutorial inside the computer in the box, I thought it might be cool to show how I use this analog setup behind me to create some of the sounds in the track. And I specifically want to show using this analog modular synth here to create some percussion, lead, pads and effects and those kind of sounds. And I'm going to be focusing mainly on 3 modules here from Mutable Instruments, which is clouds, rings and marbles, which is kind of hidden behind this mess of patch cables right now. So I'm going to be focusing around those really. Just got to say a brief shout out to Mutable Instruments, really amazing company, really forward thinking and exciting instruments that they make. So you're going to start off here with rings, and I'm going to be showing a percussion sound that's actually used in the B section of the track. It sounds a little bit like a bongo drum. And it's being generated by rings here, which is a resonator module. It uses a technique called physical modelling synthesis, whereby it tries to emulate some of the qualities that you find in real-world instruments like strings, percussion, bells, and that kind of thing. I really love this module. I've used it in a few tracks recently. So that's kind of the oscillator in a way, and it's generating the sound that we're hearing right now. But in order to actually create like a loop, what I used in the track was marbles here, which is a random sampler, and really it's like a random sequencer. It generates random sequences of CV voltages that we can then lock into loops just by using this middle control here, which again is kind of hidden underneath this mess of wires right now. So currently I'm just triggering rings here from another sequencer down the bottom. But in the track, what I would do is patch the pitch CV from marbles right here into rings, and also the gate as well. And what you can't see off camera right here is a electron machine drum, which is being used to actually trigger a gate sequence and basically just run a gate sequence into marbles right here. So as soon as I press play, we're going to hear a percussion pattern starting. And currently that was just a random sequence of voltages that were kind of locked. But if I turn this control here, what we're going to hear is just like a random sequence. And as soon as I turn it back, we can lock that. So you can hear the patterns locked now. So when we're actually making the track, what I'd normally do is have a MIDI interface. I use the Roland SPX1, which is off camera here, and that basically sends MIDI via USB out of the computer to the modular, and I'll just be running the track on a loop and just basically recording loads of takes of this, and then just editing and cutting it after. But what I've got here is just a loop of the B section of the track, just playing off the octa track here, and basically just going to see what we can get. take wasn't too bad. The beauty of this is every time I restart the sequence, I'm going to get a slightly different series of voltages here and basically a slightly different loop. And I'd just be recording this for a long time if I was making a track seriously with this. But another thing I want to show is using clouds right here, which is a really great module. It's called a texture synthesizer. I kind of think about it a bit like a grain delay and a reverb in one. And what I've got here again off camera is just a send on a mixer, so I can send the signal, the audio signal from rings into the audio input of clouds. And it's really great for creating pad sounds and just like weird atmospheres and stuff. So if I just run the sequence just on its own. And now just turn up the send on the mixer. You can see the input lights flashing on clouds, which is telling us that we've got a signal going in there. So this could be quite useful for a pad. And the great thing about clouds is it has a freeze button, which will basically freeze the audio that's going into it and just kind of lock it in a loop. So this is locked now, and I can change the pitch if I want. So the whole time I've just been using one of the resonator modes on rings, which is called inharmonic strings. That's this red light up here. I can select the different types of resonator. I just wanted to show another one briefly, which is called sympathetic strings. It's this orange mode right here, and it's really good for leads and arpeggios and more kind of melodic sequences. I'm also going to slow down the sequence coming in from marbles here, just basically slowing down the rate control, and we'll get like a slower sequence coming in now. So I quite like that one, but if I wanted a different melody, I can again just switch the déjà vu control on marbles here and get something totally different. So let's lock that. And I've got another drum beat here just playing out of the octa track, and I could just start looping this and, you know, begin a new like intro section or something for a track.